putt. Nice birdie. Nice shot. Nice shot. Nice shot. Chip in. Nice bird. Nice shot. Nice shot. Nice shot. Nice on. Birdie putt. Nice birdie. Nice shot. Nice birdie. Nice shot. Nice shot. Nice ball. Nice shot. Nice shot. Chip in. Nice birdie. Nice shot. Nice on. Birdie putt. Nice birdie. Nice shot. Nice shot. Nice shot. Nice on. Birdie putt. Nice birdie. Nice shot. Nice shot. Nice shot. Nice ball. Nice shot. Nice shot. Nice on. Birdie putt. Nice birdie. Nice shot. Nice shot. Chip in. Nice birdie. Nice shot. Nice shot. Nice shot. Nice ball. Nice shot. Nice shot. Nice shot. Nice on. Birdie putt. Nice birdie. Nice shot. Nice shot. Nice shot. Nice ball. Nice shot. Nice shot. Nice ball. Nice shot. Nice shot. shot. Nice shot. Nice shot. Nice ball. Nice shot. Nice shot. Chip in. Nice birdie.